All right, so let's begin. So we'll be doing some Indian temple sculptures today, and this is something that all of us have seen everywhere, but I don't know how many of you have attempted making those sculptures. It almost seems like the most impossible task when it comes to stone or marble sculptures that you have to make. Then I think you realize how beautifully they are made also, because if you can't even believe, you can't even dare to draw them, how could the sculptor have visualized it in stone in 3D and have sculpted all this detail that has lasted for so many hundreds of years? I mean, there's too many things to be in awe of. So we are going to attempt making the illustration, and this again, remember that this is going to be one of those keeping in mind that this is a travel illustration. So you are going to imagine that you are at the location in front of this temple perhaps, and you have a certain amount of time to illustrate these particular sculptures. So we are again, we will make this as a travel page, but this time we're not going to fold the page, we will keep it flat. So this will become more like a landscape format illustration, and this is a good format which later on you can scan and print into a postcard size and send it to people that you have visited on this trip. Perhaps it's a great way to stay in touch, to say thanks to people, and also you get some an application for the illustration you do that just spurs you on to make more illustrations later on. So we will let me just show you the pictures and then talk about that a little bit, and then we will break the pictures up as we normally do and make the sculptures. I have sent two sculptures of busts. I love these broken sculptures because statues, because there is almost like a story behind this. You do, there's so much of mystery, who the person might have been, where the statue came from, and also in pictures like this where you have a statue or a sculpture part of a very large installation, maybe on a pillar or on a doorway, but you need to identify and isolate one small part of it to illustrate, and instead of just being overwhelmed by the whole thing. This statue or sculpture can be like a thumbnail picture that you can use to talk about the rest of the complex. So let's try doing that. And then the last picture is a temple itself. So this I wanted to bring in because it's a study in perspective, where you will see different kinds of lines, like you will see the top of the temple, there's a line that goes upward, bottom of the temple line that goes downward. So I want to talk about this a little bit also. So when we are attempting these illustrations, I want you to not see this as a sculpture or worse, even human body, because all you should be noticing is these lines, how these lines interact with each other. What is the length of this line? What is the curve of this line? And where do they go? Now, because it's a human figure, you will know when you have made the waist too big or the hips too wide or too narrow. So use that sensibility to illustrate this. We will make many of these illustrations like just pencil sketches, so that you focus on the dark patches. We are not going to make each and every bit of the jewelry like a graphic illustration. So maybe if you want, we could start with this one. Oh, no. So I want to show you how I will draw it. I want you to observe it, and then you can draw it yourselves also. First and foremost, let's break this up into just lines. So when you see a face like this, you are looking at the face from below. Don't worry about how accurate the lines are and all. Just see that I can draw a straight line from here. Oh, this is purple. I don't know why I'm using purple. So I can draw a straight line from here, which can come all the way down. And part of the body is on the right, part of the body is on the left. And straight lines are very easy to make. So if I cut this line into 3 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, about the same, about the same. So I'm making almost like a grid on a straight line. I'm not marking the spots according to their internal geometry, but according to a straight line. This will help me to decide on the size of my illustration. Now, if I were to draw a square within this, I get some kind of proportion. If I break this square in half, how far do I go? All these measurements will be easy for us to draw. So then from the corner, say we draw 3 squares. See, my bottom line is not exactly 3 parts. Then I can make things like this. Where does the elbow and forearm go? What is the angle it makes? You will see that from the head to the neck, this is almost a parallel line to the upper arm as well. Then you have the hips, which are at an angle. It's not the same angle, but there is some kind of relationship between the angle of the arm, the forearm, and the hips. And then of course we have the back, which is not a straight line. It comes from the neck, through the body, and snakes down like this. Then for the face, you make a straight line and a semicircle like this. The other arm is behind the person like so, and everything else you'll be able to manage according to this basic form. How much does the body go further behind on the right? Let's see if it is exactly half of this. Yeah, more or less. See? So the body at the shoulders is about 1.5 times of our square. Do you see this? So right now the lines look confusing, but what we start off with are these 3 squares. 1, 2, 3. If you want, you can make a 4th below also, but you don't really need to. And look at where I have positioned this orange rectangle. It's about 2/3 of the way below the second square. And why is it here? Because this is the part where most of the back is seen. If I keep it any higher, will it work here? Yeah, it will work here. If I keep it any lower, maybe it won't work here because then the waist comes lower. So let's keep it at a height. And the entire body kind of fits in this frame. Let me share this with you and let's try making this. Now this is going to be our topic next month, by the way. drawing people and portraits. So we will be doing a lot of this, making stick figures and fleshing them out. But this is a nice way also to learn. Oh, okay, are the kids still around? Are they going to be drawing all this?
She's drawing something else. So
Okay,
she's
thank
already finished drawing some person sitting somewhere.
Very good. Next week, if they are going to sit with us, please let me know in advance. I would love to accommodate them also. All right, let's start. So we are not folding the paper, we're going to keep it flat, and we could consider making a nice border because Indian temples have got so many designs of borders. So plan your page before you start. Let's say we leave about 1 finger width from all sides for the border. That means we have so much space in the center. Leave a little extra from the right and the left. We'll make one sculpture here in the center, and on this side we can make the temple. And that should be good enough. The temple I don't think is from Khajuraho, but this is from Khajuraho. But let's see how much lettering we can do here. Alright, so let's begin first by making a border. Make a thin line from the edges first and then make a border. Please leave a little gap for your border from the edge of the page. So this is about 4 or 5 mm. It can be a wobbly line. Don't worry about that. Okay, I just need to take this one call. Okay, I think I'm just gonna make this in pen directly. The trick to making this line is to allow your hand to move smoothly. So keep rotating your book and let your hand glide. So keep your fingers steady and just glide your hand, keeping an eye on the edge of the book. So your eye is on the distance you need to maintain from the border, not on the line. Okay, once this is done, we can make a border not too thick because with these Indian borders you can make all sorts of intricate designs. I want to just try to make one simple design that indicates all of the complex designs. Don't make it too thick, maybe a centimeter or less than that. And don't make it overlapping over here in the corner. Leave some space from the corner. And then draw this line. Again, look at the edge or the previous line so that you can make this line about the same distance away. Don't go right to the end. Turn around. Maintain the distance throughout. Now, if you are unsure about making this line, you can use your pencil to mark a few points like this. And just make sure that whatever line you draw heads in the direction of those points or passes through them nearly. So even if you don't use a scale, you can use all these other tricks to make lines freehand. Okay. Now the border is done. We'll come to the design of the border in a bit. Now we know how much space we have. So again, no mystery. Now let's draw our 3 squares. So decide on the size of your square and maybe draw the center square first. Use your fingers or a tool to check that your squares are indeed squares, because if they are rectangles, you're going to have either a pudgy figure or a very slim, slender, completely non-Indian European figure. Remember, these are only guidelines. So you might have to draw multiple lines to make your square, make a straight line, but don't erase these lines and draw them very lightly. Then I'm drawing a line from through the center and then a rectangle on the right of the middle block. Okay, now let's draw the tilt of the head. It's at 45 degrees, almost 45 degrees in the first block, negative 45. Then about the same angle, we have the angle of the arm, the upper arm, which comes a little beyond the right side of our stack of squares. And then just above the halfway point, it angles inward. At this point, literally at this junction, we can draw the hand which comes up beyond this point and draw it as a rectangular shape like this, a weird polygon. We're going to make the hand in that shape. And then from right here we can start building the sculpture. So the wrist is somewhere over here. Draw an arm beyond this halfway point and above this is the green line, guideline. Now the elbow is not a very pointy joint. It always flattens. And the upper arm goes into the armpit, slightly upright from the back and slanted from the front. See, that is how we will get a nice shape to the arm. And bring this shoulder inward. Now here we will draw the face. The face is partially hidden behind the shoulder. The chin is not really visible, it's behind the shoulder. And this line goes slightly higher, a little to the left is where our face begins, left of the top square, not exactly at the top but below. It goes around from the outside up to the middle here, and then comes down behind the shoulder. Just trust the process. Don't get too worried. At this point the head is looking pretty big, but once we put in the hair, which will be here, and in line with this diagonal we have the ear, a very weird shaped ear. This will seem fine. Now you can make the adjustments. Then we have this hair in the back, some very beautiful jewelry, a little ball which comes at the corner intersection. So every time you're making an element, see if it appears in the same place where we have made the guidelines, around the same corners with the same lines, because that is how grids work. Now where's the back of the neck? It's on the right side of this diagonal line. Here's the neck. She has some kind of rope tied over here at this point. And then the back comes down into this shape, onto which we have some very interesting hair jewelry again. And the back comes straight down. I think my elbow has gone out a bit too much. I'm going to bring it inward now, so that her back comes from here. Now let's draw the mirror in her hand. Draw her bust and check your lines again. See how far my arm is from her bust line. So I need to make adjustments, bring it closer. So regardless of what I have drawn before, as I draw more and more elements, I get different data. So I have to keep adjusting. And then she has these bangles. One hip coming down like that, and the other hip straight. Now when we are painting this, the bottom part is going to be left like this, unpainted. Now we have the hand on top, which has just got a wiggly finger like that. Thumb. We are going to be doing thumbs and hand and everything next month. So right now, if your thumbs and fingers are going to look like stumps, just let it be. Don't worry about that too much. After the face, I think these features, the hands and the feet, are the toughest thing to draw. They don't make life easier. Okay, is everyone with me? Now to draw the face. Notice how her nose actually just comes down. It's like an L shape. And then her face comes down like this. For the eye, the forehead goes a little forward and then turns into the nose. So it's almost like a zigzag L shape that comes at an angle here. From this line almost and curving like the forehead. Look at this eyebrow shape. It goes up and out. It's very big eyebrow shape. Just look at the shape here. Don't look at the photograph. And next to the eyebrow, we can draw the eye. Like this. And the second eye, we just draw a lid like this. It is looking like that. I don't know how the artist has managed to make her eyelashes also. Now for the nose, there's a nostril definitely over there to give definition. Look at the shape, it's like an oval shape at an angle and then a C shape in the opposite direction. And the mouth is just two curves. You have the mouth curving like this. You have an upper lip that folds over. And this curve comes a little outside. It's a little chin here. And it rolls inward. These faces alone are a study in themselves. Just faces of sculptures. Alright, now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you a different technique of rendering. We're not going to ink this because the sculpture is in a light colored stone. If we make a dark black line, it might not look that good. So once you're satisfied with your basic framework of the sculpture, remove all these straight guidelines. After the guidelines come away, you might feel the need to make some adjustments. I'm going to show you how to draw this hand also, so don't worry about that. Remove all the lines which you think are wrong. And at this point, we are going to do a little bit of shading here. So those of you who feel that your palms might be a little sweaty, use a sheet of paper or a cloth underneath so that if your hand were to go over your pencil sketch, that it does not become muddy. And later on, we are going to paint over this. So then the graphite will get sealed. Excuse me just a second. Okay, now very often in these places you will have very interesting light. So you can start shading these to create the effect of stone sculpture. Also, in the process, you will be able to see these shapes much better. So start off with whichever area you want to, finish that line and start shading with just maybe a light shade, not a very dark shade. So over here there are lines into the like this texture going into the bun. So you can draw that. There is some jewelry also. Remember here you will be able to zoom into the picture and see that jewelry, but when you are on site that might not be possible, so you have to just rely on your interpretation of these shadows, and you'll be surprised if you don't overthink it, you will get the exact same effect no matter what it is. That's when you realize that many of these illustrations or sorry, when you have to make illustrations like these, you don't really need to know what that object is as long as it looks like whatever it looks. That's when you know that you have cracked the code. Now, for the face, there are very subtle shadows. There's a very light shadow underneath her eyebrow going into the eye. We are going to shade this pretty much like we would shade a regular face. Below this finger, there's a shadow. I think this bump has become too tall, so I will reduce that a little bit. Her bangles also have a texture, but don't draw individual circles like that. You can just draw the silhouette of the bangles. Keep it light. Don't make it too line heavy. So just making even this much is enough. Just like a semblance of jewelry is fine. And in the shading of her hand, we are able to demarcate the edge of her hair. See? Keep your shading very light. Hold your pencil far away and just make lines. So don't roll your pencil because as the pencil starts becoming blunt in one area, you will start getting more even tones as you shade. And wherever you need to darken, just make more shading over there. Change the direction of your pencil when you're shading. is something you can also do. Use up old socks to make these sweat guards for your hands. So you don't have to worry about keeping a paper or anything. Now notice how the texture in the hair is also more visible towards the bottom, because that is where the shadows are more prominently visible. So your lines can just end halfway, that's fine. Again, I want to remind you that we are trying to make a quick sketch. This is not a quick sketch, but still, some details you can choose to ignore. Even that itself is an exercise. What do you ignore and what do you not ignore? What do you keep in the illustration? What do you discard? So my strategy generally is that if there is anything repetitive and if I can make it after the illustration is even painted, I don't draw it on site. I leave it for when I'm going to come back home and do it. If it's just like adding more texture for this hair, if she had just like a big braid or something, then I would probably just not make the whole braid. Now look at how these holes are. I love this. Interesting texture for dimples in a solid object. When you make these dimples, notice that the entire hemisphere also is shaded from the bottom. And as you come higher, there's one part in which there is a C-shaped dimple pointing downward, or a U shape, one might say. So there is a slight darker edge and then a lighter edge. And also that shading is not uniform throughout. And its shadow falls on the back. And this is where the back comes from. These shadows are very important, these cast shadows, to make the object look more three-dimensional. How's everyone doing? Are you getting it? Any problems?
Struggling, but
Okay. But is the struggle just about the time used up, or are you struggling
no,
to
no,
reach the
no.
shapes?
It was just the that first the length. I think I've got the head too big, so I'm struggling with the
Okay.
proportion.
This part.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
I
that's that.
think
The
the
face
face
has
and the
become
head is
too
becoming
large.
Okay, so
the
just
rest.
look at the sculpture and see what is the on a, if this were a flat illustration, what is the proportion of the chin to in a straight line where the hairline begins and from there to the end of the head. Just look at that proportion. It's probably like this is 2.5 times would make this shape. See if you're getting that. Anything that you can break down to a straight line and cut into pieces, where would you go? Because if you start looking at the whole shape, it will come with the context of the features, the hand, and everything. We have to flatten that out. Let me just show you what I mean here. So this is our face. It's not a face. Don't look at it as a face. From the chin, if I were to draw a line straight up to where her hand. Okay, so first the chin and the thumb are in a straight line. We get that. Then, if I were to divide this section, top of the head and where the hairline begins, how many times does that repeat? So we have this one time, okay, to where this jewelry at the ear comes. Then you have the second time, and you have where the mouth comes, and then below that, about a little more than a half is where the chin would come. So 2.5 times this area will give you the chin. If the features are a problem, just don't make the features. We have a lot of sculptures which, well, unfortunately were defaced, but that was the part that went, the facial features, but everything else can still be drawn. When you're making this scarf around her, um, see that on the right hand side, it just
That's Hazar.
folds in.
Minute.
Top arm doesn't look like it's her arm only in mine.
What does it look like? Can I see it? Can I
Looks like
help
somebody
you?
else's arm.
The one on the head?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, let me
Look.
see. Okay, 1 second. Let me just see why it's coming that way.
Why is that arm looking so odd?
I'll tell you what you need to do. Send me a picture, now, please. I'm
Okay.
gonna
Yes. Yes. Yes.
There's minor corrections. You're almost there.
Sorry. One second.
Let me know when you've sent it.
Yes. Yes. I will. Let's just share picture. Yes, Aditi, I've seen
Or,
it.
or check.
Yeah, just I think it's too short.
Let me see. I'll just share it on the group.
Yeah, maybe I think it should come a little more forward on the forehead. I think it's too far back on her hand.
Okay, so look at this. The
Yeah.
eye has been made much flatter. It's
Too,
actually
okay.
more
It's
upright.
okay. It's that angle, no, of her head from underneath.
Yeah, so this has to be like that.
Difficult. Yeah. Okay.
Eye has to be like that. Oh, not that far.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Somewhere like this, more upright.
Yeah.
Then that will change the. You've got the forehead right, so that's okay, not a problem. And in this case, your arm also is in the right place. The thumb is right above the chin, that is good. The distance seems to be fine. So even mine is going to look like it's standing out of nowhere, but I think that's what happens. This is where her arm goes, and then
Yeah.
there seems to be something like a sleeve or part of a garment on the wall. I'll show you. Might stay the way it is, just ignore this line. Can you see
Uh,
this little
you
squiggle?
think it's, Alfie, you think it's that same, shawl, which is coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. So somewhere behind in this space
Yeah.
where her hand goes up.
Yeah.
So the proportion of our hair and everything could well be off. So just take this one line down and bring it
Hmm.
like this. That should do it.
Thanks. Thanks.
How about the others? How is your struggle going? So, just so you know, I'm sure you must be aware of this also. Typically, a lot of Indian art students are taken to many of these sites to create sketches of these sculptures. They're very unique in their style, and the things like these, the fingers and hands, the way they are postured, it's almost like a dancer's moves. So then they're almost not like how we would keep our hands ever. I mean, I don't think I would ever hold something like that kind of grace. So we are not used to seeing fingers held like that, but look at how beautiful it looks in the sculpture. Anyway, if it's going to be like a piece of work that's going to last forever or for such a long time, the artist better put in his best effort, her best effort to make it look stunning. This is going to be um, a stone sculpture which is not going to move, so you can put as uncomfortable a position for the hands as possible. Which only means that when we have to draw it, we have to draw very unnatural looking hands. Okay, back comes much closer here, and it's also very curved.
Aditi, I can't really tell what it is, but there is something off about the face.
Face, can you share it? Let me see. Let me diagnose. Oh, everyone has shared their pictures. Okay, let me just do a quick check on everyone's work. Okay, this is good. Janita, the hands on the lady are very Van Gogh-like.
Interested seeing yours.
They're very Van Gogh-like, I must say. Even Picasso. So
No, I feel
there's
interested
some
seeing
style.
yours.
So I'll just change a few things on this so you'll know what to do. Okay. So for the fingers, this is what we do. Then there's a line for the rest of the fingers, and then the bottom comes like this, except this is all too low. So you can take this a little higher. Okay, almost there. Then the forearm is slightly shorter than where you have made it, and this angle can be reduced so that it's not going too far behind. And then also her bust can come like this, and this oval shape can become a little flatter. Okay, so it's just minor angle changes here and there. The face is nice. Maybe this eyebrow can go a little higher, and I can turn. I'm actually surprised that all of you are getting the faces pretty well. Sorry, this is here. This can be not over there, but a little to the left. So just change the angle of the eye. But it's looking nice the way it is also. You don't have to do it. This can go a little behind. And the hair, the head, no, sorry, the hand on top of the head is looking quite nice. Yeah, that should do it. Now the back part, let's make her a little slenderer. And the line from the hip can be a little like this. And then bring her down. And no further than that. Just this. Okay, so we get that very nice lachak. I'll share this. Okay. Okay, let's check Amulya's. So the face has become a little longer than it should be. I will reduce the size and show you. So move this, bring this a little lower. So you know how I had proportioned this part, right? So if this is about 2.5, your hair needs to come somewhere maybe like this. And let me just look at the picture of the lady's face. So the nose, this part is going to be a little narrower, and this is going to come down like this. You've got this part, right? The eye will be somewhere here, I think, and the eyebrow will be like this. See? Now, as far as the mouth is concerned, I think it is fine, but the chin can come a little straighter like that. And remove this shading, make it much lighter. So the moment you change this proportion, your head should look slightly shorter in comparison to the rest of the body. This has become really thin. So maybe we can increase the height or the thickness of her arm a little bit, and always a little wedge shape for the end of the elbow. Yeah, does it look like some changes possible? Okay, wait a minute. One more thing. Her hand has to come here. It's gone too far ahead. Okay?
Yeah.
Alright. This is a wonderful topic, but you guys should just practice more of these sculptures. They're just so fun.
Aditi, will you have a look at mine?
Yeah.
I know the hand has come very badly.
It's a toughie, I know. Don't worry. But let me just finish this part, then I'll check everyone. Here, I think the beads would look nice. The back, this, that's the only adornment she has over there. So maybe we can make that. Otherwise, actually, wait. Instead of making all of the individual beads, make some beads like that, and then just make a line running like this, which is not a straight line. It's a very, very wobbly line, and I think she's got some tassels also, something like that. And there's one leg coming back like this, and this one will go forward. There's no gap over there. And even the top, just end it like this. We are not making this a detailed sculpture, no matter how much detail we have put already. We have to stop somewhere, and that's the place where we stop. If you feel the need and you have the time, you can always go back and make more beads over there. But right now, just keep that embellished. Okay, and then there's a lot of shading here, so let me just do this and do make these cast shadows. A cast shadow is a shadow that an object casts on a space right underneath it, like this. Then there's a shadow on the wall also. There's some shadows over here underneath all these, in the crook of the elbow, and at her butt area. Okay, I'm going to do this shading after I check Neeta's pictures. Your shading has to be really light. Okay. Yeah, this is nice, Neeta. Let me correct a few.
I'm not happy with the back. I don't know, the back and the bottom is
Yeah.
little.
Yeah, so I'll show you how this line will work. This there is this little thing at the back which is hanging at an angle. All right. And from there you have a line that comes down, and then this is the whole leg.
Okay.
This part is just going straight down. So it's almost as if the left leg is going to be overlapping the right leg. And these embellishments are very strategically coming. I have no idea
Little lower. Yeah.
what kind of jewelry it is, but it almost seems to enhance the shape of her hips.
Yeah.
It's quite beautiful. Now, here the eye is a problem for everyone. Give a little bit of a gap between the eyebrow and the eye.
Okay.
Wait. Now, you can also reduce the height. See how much head space you have?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can reduce that, and your hand can come somewhere here so it doesn't look too far away. Then you can join it straight from the back. That's what I've done. And we'll just shade over here so it'll look like it's in the shadows.
Okay. So I should lower the.
Yeah, I'm just sharing this with you.
Okay.
Yeah, Bhavani's is looking nice. Sai's face is looking a little straight. And a few things, just change this. Right now she's looking like her hand is pulling her in the back here.
Yeah.
This part now.
Uh-huh.
I was just explaining how you do that. So draw this separately. You have this line coming,
Yes.
this.
Okay. Mm.
So it comes from the front, but it ends just behind the arm, and then there's a separate thing that goes out like this. And this little gap or break in the line creates the illusion of a fold. So it doesn't look like her arm is being stretched backwards. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. I'll share this so you can draw it.
Yes.
Okay, so now if you're reasonably satisfied, the next part is the simplest. Wrong pencil. See, there's a lot of shadow behind her hair. That's where the other hand is probably being accommodated. And you can make some shadow behind her entire figure. Now we can increase the depth of all these tones even after the watercolor part is done. So if you are more or less done, we can now create some washes here. Since most of our illustration is already ready, you don't have to bother about detailing any of this in color again. So all you need to do is create the right color tone which in this case could be a mix of yellow ochre, largely yellow ochre, just with a little bit of scarlet. Let's see how this works. Maybe even a little bit of a cobalt blue will do. Very little bit, so that we make it a little dull. But not green. If we put too much cobalt blue into this color, it might just become green. So we have to just put in a wash. Would you like to see this first before you paint it? A big fat brush. I'm going to paint around this entire area, not just the sculpture. So as usual, start off with the places where we have put some shadows. And if you feel like it, you can also create some highlights. So I'm just spreading this outward. My color become very dull. So I'm going back to a more watery yellow ochre. So tops which are not colored or they have a highlight, I'm just going to leave that unpainted in the beginning. And then if you want to be a little more adventurous, you can add more color to this. So we are not going to create just one flat wash. Even that is fine. But look at this, it's so much fun. Just from the bottom of all the parts of the sculpture, you can add color. It starts looking so much more three-dimensional. So here the shaded areas. And if the color were to go outside, let's say it just goes out into the neighborhood, that won't look bad either, because that will look like the wall behind our sculpture. So that's perfectly fine.
Can we do this little bit before we start the next?
What do you mean?
Meaning the shading, this highlights that you've shown.
I didn't get your question.
I mean, should we wait for you to do more? Or should we do this much?
No, you can do this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Komal?
Oh,
Sorry.
that's okay. I'll mute. So when painting sculptures like these, there are lots of color options that you can go for also. Because we are not actually trying to paint a stone. No, we are trying to make a painting of something that is in stone. So I'm going to now put a scarlet in some places over here. There is no scarlet in the sculpture or the stone, but I feel that if I add a little scarlet in a few places, it might add some fun to the picture, just as a wash maybe. And it is going to be very subtle. So it's mostly water and it's spread out. So that little tinge of red in the right place will make everything stand out differently. And this is an experiment done best when your color is still wet. So keep your hand light and don't load your brush too much. Now, as this is drying, I'm going to add a third color, but you don't have to, because this is going to make the shadows firmer. Now, you don't have to do any of this. Even after the first wash, our sculpture will look quite 3D because of all the shading that we've done. I'm adding a blue now to some areas to increase the contrast. Now this is what I do. I've applied this color, but you can see that the edges are a little too firm, too dark. So I'll wipe my brush, and I want you to try this somewhere at least. Just pull your brush along the edge so that you soften that edge. So wherever you have a very harsh line like this, and you want to soften the edge, just wipe the brush, damp it, and come over again and quickly run over it. In many cases, it won't really matter because somehow that color will just get absorbed in the neighborhood. Now, if you feel your colors are a little light, then you can go over some of the areas again. I often paint my first layer very light, and then I feel I should add some more color. But again, I won't go over the entire sculpture again. Those light colors are doing something. So I will paint something else, paint something less. Make sure that my edges are not too harsh. Wherever possible, I'm just going to sweep a stroke in, not actively paint anything. And each stroke I made, I'm hoping to increase the depth. Okay, how's it looking?